This is a Python function definition whose job is to print the course description of CS21. I am going to run this program and show you the displayed output. Python interpreter successfully executed the program and printed all the lines specified inside the function definition. Now pay close attention to all the terminology I'm going to introduce in this lecture. You might want to take notes as well, which would help you immensely with next 2 weeks in the course. To create a function in Python, you write its definition. The first line in the function is called a function header. This includes the Python keyword def, which stands for definition, followed by the name of the function. The set of statements you have in the scope of this function is called as a block. To execute the block of code within a function, you call it. I repeat, to execute the block of code within a function in your Python program, you call it. After the function call, Python interpreter goes to the function definition, executes all the code, and when it reaches the end of the function, the program control will return to wherever it was when the function was called. To understand this better, I should introduce you to the concept of void functions and value returning functions. I will demonstrate both of them by writing a function definition that computes area of a circle, given radius as input argument. Void function computes and prints the area, whereas value returning function computes the area and returns the value back to where it was called. Here is the void function definition for area of circle. It takes radius as a parameter, evaluates the area, and displays it. The function call in the program sends the radius value as input argument. When I execute this program, Python interpreter reads through the function definition and stores all the code in the computer memory. After that, it goes to the code written outside the function definition. When the Python interpreter sees a function call, it uses the value or variable in the input argument as the value of the parameter in the function definition it's stored in the memory and executes the block of code like that. Perfect. Now let us look at the value returning function. Inside this function definition, I have written code to evaluate the area, and then I have a return statement. The function is going to return the area to wherever the function was called. We have the function call right here, so the program control returns to where this function was called. The return value by the function is assigned to this variable, which is subsequently printed. I have another call to the function right after, so it evaluates the area, returns it back to this variable, and then prints it. And this is the printed output. This week, we will be focusing mainly on void functions. Next week, we shall be delving deep into the concept of value returning functions. All right. It is not an understatement if I say that functions are the most important concept you will learn in this introductory programming course. There are plenty of benefits of using functions in your program. I will highlight a few here. First, functions make it easier to reuse code. Remember the square root function you used from the math library? You are able to just import it and use it in your program. Alright, the next benefit is that it breaks the program into simpler to solve subproblems. So far, we have seen programs that were small, which were written in few lines of code. But think about the real world programs around you. say like the social media apps you might be using. It would be very difficult to write the code for such big programs as a monolith. It makes sense to break this big program into manageable chunks as functions. Which brings us to the next benefit, that it facilitates teamwork by dividing the code up. If you pursue a career in software engineering, it is very likely that you will be working in a team. You would be responsible for writing the function assigned to you flawlessly. The beauty of writing functions is that they all can be put together into one big program. The last benefit I would like to highlight is that functions make your code easier to test and debug. When the main program does not work, you will have to spend some time in identifying where the issue might be. You would shortlist the functions that might be having the issue and test them one after the other to resolve the issue. I hope you are convinced regarding the immense value of using functions in your programs.